Are you creating out of love or fear? Throughout our life as beings of energy, we're always creating, right? We can apply our consciousness to anything and create anything that we want. This is kind of like manifestation. We can funnel our energy into things and we can create them. We can create things. We create relationships. We create job opportunities for ourselves. We create our future, depending on what we do now. We create businesses. We create art. We create music. We create a plate of, food, a plate of breakfast or dinner. There's so many things that we create as beings of energy. So it's important that we actually look into how are we creating these things, and what kind of energy are we infusing into these creations? Because whatever you create with, whatever energy you create with, first you're putting that energy out into the world, right? It kind of solidifies out into the world. When you create with, say, love, if you create with love, you're putting that energy out into the world, actually making it concrete, rather, taking it from the universal grid, like from the ether, and placing it more solidly into existence. So we need to really look at how we're creating things. Let's say someone starts a business, right? Let's say they're working a day job, but they want to start a business. Let's say, a pressure washing business. Okay, why do they want to start that business? Is it because they fear of getting fired from their job? They fear they're going to lose their job security? Do they fear that they're not going to have enough money? Or is it because they actually enjoy doing that, and they enjoy how happy the customer is once the job is done, once the concrete is, brightened up fully? There's a difference, right? When they create that business out of fear, if there's a fear energy that's driving a creation, then the business becomes an amalgamation of fear energy. But if it's created with love, then it becomes, a vehicle of loving energy. This goes for relationships too, right? If you bond with someone out of fear, if you really don't want to be alone, and you're putting that energy out into the world. Let's say you're single, but you really don't like being single. You're scared of being alone in a fearful way, and you're putting that energy out into the world. It's likely that you'll attract someone similar, with a similar energy that they're putting out, a fearful energy, and then a fear bond or trauma bond is created, and that relationship is built and created. It's co-created on fear, on energies of fear. So it's likely that relationship would be, a rougher relationship, or one with lots of fear and dysfunction in it. Versus when, you've done the inner work, you've healed a lot, and you're content with being single, but you're happy and ready and open to start a loving relationship whenever the time is right. Do you see the difference there? It's creating these desires with fear versus with love. And so then, if you're putting the love out into the world, you're ready to start a loving relationship, it's likely that you'll attract a loving relationship. And then that relationship will be co-created with the energies of love, and it'll be a loving relationship. This goes for music too. This goes for everything. You know, you really infuse the things you create with your energy. If a painter is painting and they've had they're in like a depressive bout or something like that, it'll show up in their paintings. You know, you've seen the paintings of people who paint, schizophrenics who will do a painting, or, you know, someone on psychedelics will do a painting. They're very different, right? So if a painter is creating with fear, there's going to be fearful energy in that painting. If it's in an art gallery, you might walk by it and you'll see, oh, that makes me feel fearful. Or, you know, then a painter who paints with love, you'll feel that energy too, right? I'm infusing this video with lots of love because I love to do this. I love to explain spirituality and help people and normalize this stuff. So I'm infusing this video with large amounts of loving energies, right? So we literally create things with our energy because we are beings of energy, and we infuse this stuff. So when we do this, we can do it consciously, right? It's for so many people, it's a subconscious thing. You know, they're cooking breakfast, but they're feeling scared or worried or anxious. That energy subconsciously, they might not notice it. That energy is flowing into their breakfast. Versus if they're feeling good, if they're really happy, they're in a harmonious relationship, their partner is right next to them, that love is flowing all into that meal and into the environment around them too. So that might be a subconscious thing that people aren't aware of. But because we can actually notice that this is happening now, then we can start to consciously choose and visualize what energy we're creating with. If you're creating music, or you're creating a business, or you're putting something out into the world, you can literally just visualize in your mind's eye energies of love going in there. Usually pink is a good color to visualize, just flowing into your creation. And this will help just immensely, right? Visualization is not necessarily imagination. They're not exactly the same thing. If you're visualizing something, it doesn't mean it's just your imagination, because visualization can be real too. And often, most of the time, it is actually real. So this stuff that we're creating is being put out into the world, solidifying as an energy. So it's important that we're conscious of what energy we're creating with. Is it fear? Is it lust? Is it anger? Is it hate? Or is it love? Is your relationship built off of fear or lust? Or, scared of being left? Or is it built out of love and peace and mutual growth and harmony? The things like that, right? Just knowing what we create with is so powerful.